Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today, and man oh man is it a big day for Bethesda. As someone who's covered them since Skyrim came out, doing rare weapon and armor guides and following them as a fan for the majority of my lifetime, really since Morrowind, it's absolutely insane to say today they are officially under the ownership of Xbox. So now Xbox has 23 first-party studios. A lot of them are thanks to Bethesda, like Arcane, Bethesda Game Studios, Tango Gameworks, id Software, and the list goes on. So this is a new chapter for Bethesda. They posted a brand new video on their Twitter account, like your boy predicted, by the way, just emphasizing what it means to be a part of Xbox and what exactly has happened with Bethesda over the years, really just showcasing their entire history. And it makes you think, wow, they've been through a lot to get to this point in time. So to all my friends at Bethesda who have managed to get this deal done, congratulations. Today in this video, we are talking about, of course, the news. We're talking about exclusivity. We're talking about reports of a showcase in just a couple of days that has been reaffirmed, and plenty more like Game Pass editions and what exactly this means for Xbox as well as Bethesda. So this is the start of a brand new chapter for Bethesda, one underneath Xbox, and I'm very curious to see how it goes as someone who's covered them for a decade. Now, not to toot my horn again and say, as I predicted, but as I predicted, there is an Xbox Wire post pretty much detailing what's going to go on with this Bethesda deal, and it seems like we're getting more information later on this week because understandably so, this is a big event. Xbox should stretch this out and make sure that people are continuously talking about it, dominate the news window for the next couple of weeks. So with that, let's start off with a Xbox Wire post by Phil Spencer, which starts off by saying, "This is an exciting day for Xbox. Today, we officially complete the acquisition of ZeniMax Media, parent company of Bethesda Softworks. It's an honor to welcome the 8 incredibly talented development studios, Bethesda Game Studios, id Software, ZeniMax Online Studios, Arcane, Machine Games, Tango Gameworks, Alpha Dog, and Roundhouse Studios, and their passionate global communities to the Xbox family. Now that everything is official, we can begin working together to deliver more great games to everyone. At every step building toward this moment, I've been inspired and motivated by the creativity, insights, and community-first approach of the talented people at Bethesda. Our goal is to give these teams the best foundation for doing their greatest work and to learn from them as we continue to build Xbox into an inclusive platform for all players." So just a standard introduction, nothing there really. Here's where we're gonna get into the meat and potatoes of the conversation, and where a lot of people are excited, frustrated, confused, disgusting, and let's just say that the theorizing will mostly continue on. So let's read. It says, "This is the next step in building an industry-leading first-party studios team, a commitment we have to our Xbox community. With the addition of Bethesda's creative teams, gamers should know that Xbox, consoles, PC, and Game Pass will be the best place to experience new Bethesda games, including some new titles in the future that will be exclusive to Xbox and PC players." Philly boy was just threading the needle right there, threading that needle. Oh man. All right, so not exactly the confirmation I think a lot of people were looking for. And by that, I mean that they're not specifying which games, they're not specifying the type of games. Our assumption as a community has been multi-platform games will likely be something like Elder Scrolls Online, future MMOs. We know that Elder Scrolls Online's developer ZeniMax Online Studios is working on a brand new MMO RPG, so presumably that would be multi-platform. Anything with live service elements like a Fallout 76, they're not going to strip that from PlayStation, or if they do another Elder Scrolls live service game or Fallout live service game or anything live service underneath any of these studios, they will go to other platforms, you would assume. I know some people will say, well, what about, say, Sea of Thieves, right? That's a live service game that is exclusive to Xbox and PC, but I do think it's a little bit different with Bethesda. That's just my assumption, however, but they're not specifying what, and it's a big non-answer. The only thing we get here is that they do say there will be exclusives, and to us, that's all we can really speculate about. What will be the exclusives? They didn't specify, hey, some existing series will be exclusive. New IPs will be exclusive. Licensed games like Indiana Jones, will those be exclusives? Because some games will be exclusives is the new case-by-case basis that Phil Spencer was talking about half a year ago when we first started talking about this. Exclusives will be on a case-by-case basis. Now it's some games will be, which is pretty much wordplay at this point. So the situation is the exact same. We know exclusives are going to happen. That much has been confirmed. Some people on the PlayStation side of things thought 0 exclusives were happening. I don't know where exactly you thought that would happen or why. I'm not trying to be an ass about it, but I don't know how people thought, hey, Insomniac was fleeced for $250 million and all of their games are exclusive to PlayStation. But when Xbox pays $7.5 billion, yeah, PlayStation's going to get them all. I mean, I just don't get that. And it still makes sense why they're going to take those multi-platform games, those multiplayer games, and put them over there, in my opinion. But when it comes to something like, I'm assuming Starfield, I think that's been locked down. I'm going to repeat myself because it seems like a lot more people are listening, and they were shopping exclusivity for something like Starfield. So if they were shopping for that, I can only imagine there are plenty of other games that can make their way into exclusivity. Reading on a little bit, and we'll talk about PlayStation now. As we previously shared, it's vitally important that Bethesda continues making games the way it always has. We look forward to empowering Bethesda's creative teams to reach even more players around the world, helping make future Bethesda titles the biggest and most popular games in their history. Xbox and Bethesda have shared a common vision for the future of gaming, both as fans and as creators. Bethesda understands the potential of Xbox Game Pass. So a lot of people receive Phil saying that the best place to experience these games from Bethesda is on Xbox, PC, and Game Pass. And in that quote I just read there, people are saying, oh, he's talking about PlayStation, but I think the very tongue-in-cheek hint here is him saying, both as fans and creators, Bethesda understands the potential of Game Pass after all of that. The key here is Game Pass, because number one, it's a value-driven offering, right? It's saying that instead of spending your $60, or now we're moving into $70, Game Pass will become more alluring as $70 becomes that staple. But on top of all of that is that how Game Pass will make its way to other platforms. Right now, we know that Xbox is definitely looking into making a Game Pass TV app, one that you can load up on your smart TV. And as long as you have a controller, you can access a whole library of games. You don't even need a console. That is the future, and that will reach millions and millions and millions of more players around the world. And that is very exciting to see. And I think that is where a lot of the cloud streaming success will really start to kick in for gaming. It's with Xbox Game Pass being an app, and maybe what you see Nintendo embracing cloud gaming, right? We see them do Hitman 3 with Control. I do wonder if they will one day embrace Game Pass coming to Switch at some point in time. I mean, there is a lot there to unpack, and I know it sounds heavy on speculation, but there is a lot of intention behind these PR statements. I know it says it's by Phil Spencer, but Phil didn't just sit down, pop up a Word document and go, yep, done, ship it, here it is. This is reviewed through and through by PR teams to make sure it is absolutely sealed tight, that there's no loopholes, but there is room for specific wordplay that suggests things. It's absolutely intentional that after they talk about getting people to play as many of these games as possible, Phil specifically states that Bethesda understands the value of Game Pass. Just think about it. Game Pass is the future. This is Xbox's big thing right now. And even if these games all don't go fully exclusive, at the end of the day, Game Pass is a major win, right? Whether you're a Game Pass subscriber and you get a game that you were planning on buying that you thought you'd enjoy and you end up enjoying it, or you get to try out a game that you thought you'd enjoy and you end up disliking it. So there is a win there because Bethesda's publishing has been spotty at times. Also, when Phil says that they want to continue to have Bethesda make games the way they previously did, a lot of people receive that as, once again, platform talk. My interpretation, and that's kind of the issue with all of this, a lot of it's up to interpretation, it's not being very direct, is that Phil here is talking about maintaining how Bethesda makes their games, as in Microsoft and Xbox will likely be very little involved outside of, oh, you need some money? Oh, you need some help? You want some testing? You want some additional staff on board? That type of stuff. They're designed to be the problem solver, the money provider. I don't think it has anything to do with continuing to make games on PlayStation. I understand how that interpretation comes across. Your interpretation, I believe, is as valid as mine, but that's how I view it, at least. So that's what Xbox had to say about things, but there is more. So GamesBeat had an article posted last night on what we can expect this week about Xbox and Bethesda, because this isn't just it. This is the announcement that the deal is done, but now we're going to get more throughout the week, such as an announcement of an event, of course, some type of showcase or something along those lines. I mean, there's a lot here to continue to unpack, so let's get into this article from none other than Jeff Grubb. Microsoft is unlikely to get into the specifics about Bethesda's upcoming projects. Details about the previously announced sci-fi role-playing game Starfield will likely come this summer, so Xbox and Bethesda won't talk about that now. Instead, they will explain what the deal means for Game Pass subscribers, which I just really iterated heavily upon for a good number of minutes as to why this was a message to Game Pass subscribers, and all that about getting to more players and whatnot was for Game Pass subscribers. But when it comes to Starfield this summer, I'm telling people, man, 2021. You heard it here first. Been saying that. I know it can be up in the air. I agree. The pandemic can really cause things to go back and forth, but I truly believe Xbox wants to get that game out the door so they can have the mega fall of Starfield and Halo Infinite. Like I said, I've been telling you guys for months. You heard it here first. The article continues saying Xbox and Bethesda are also not planning to mash together their summer showcases. Both companies are preparing announcements for around E3, but they will hold them separately. Microsoft, however, may try to present them back to back as part of a 1-2 punch for Xbox. This, I'm in the middle on. I'm very neutral on this because it is absolutely an excellent idea if you can literally get the boom, boom, like 1-2 punch, where one day you have a ton of updates on Obsidian and Turn 10 and Compulsion Games and Coalition 343. You let them all take up the oxygen of the games industry, and then the next day you come out and say, we have this year Starfield exclusive, and so on and so forth. Wolfenstein 3, is that going to be exclusive? A lot of people talk about like current series. That's one of the other debates is, hey, will established series ends up being exclusive? All I'm saying is PlayStation paid enough cash where, let's just say Final Fantasy VII, which has been around for decades, the remake of that absolutely legendary RPG ended up being exclusive and continues to be exclusive. So you can't tell me that suddenly Wolfenstein 3 can't be. I'm not saying it's going to happen. You can't tell me it can't. It's just, once again, people are being delusional, that like denying the fact that it can happen. I'm not saying it's going to, but it can. Anyway, back on track with what I was originally trying to say. It's that Xbox and Bethesda doing separate shows can be good, but Bethesda, they've really only, in my opinion, and I know some people will disagree, they've really only, I felt, had two good E3s, and that was E3 2015, where they had everything ready from Dishonored 2 to Fallout 4 and a new Elder Scrolls Online expansion and plenty more. And then 2016 was more about Fallout 4, and then on top of that you got a full look at Dishonored 2, and there was just a lot more there that I thought was of a higher quality. I believe we got the Evil Within 2 announcement then. There is that, but then afterwards, I feel like you continue to force the showcase when there wasn't enough to show off, right? We had Creation Club, we had Commander Keen, we got Fallout 76, we got these really weird, bogus announcements. Elder Scrolls Blades was another one, and I felt like Bethesda just continued their mobile initiative more and more because it also, A, filled up these showcase slots, but B, obviously it generated them a lot of money. Just look how much Fallout Shelter made them. But I just feel like, yeah, Bethesda can hold their own show, but sometimes that's not going to be consistently high quality. And it's really oftentimes buoyed by when Todd Howard comes on the stage and talks about his games, because then everything else rises with that, because there's the anticipation that at the end of the show you're going to see the big one. You know, the big one's there, where when Bethesda Game Studios isn't there, and that's no disrespect to someone like Arcane, who I think is actually kind of better than them at this point in time, it's just that they don't hold the same industry power that a Bethesda Game Studios happens to. So honestly, I'm on the side of the fence that I would love to see these two meld together. Seeing Halo Infinite have a big update and be like, that's coming this fall, and then Starfield come out and that also is coming this fall. But what this allows is for not to keep going back to Todd Howard, but really it does allow for him to still do his half-hour presentations on stage, show off his games in full like he likes to, not a quick 2-minute trailer, really explain everything out to fans who are listening, and of course be memed to death. And so I think all of that cannot happen if we have it on the Xbox stage. It would have to be hustled along because they fit so many other games in there. So this is a good and bad choice. I feel like Bethesda doesn't have enough to continuously show stuff for their showcase. This year, it could be pretty solid, right? There are some games that we are looking forward to and we want to know more about. Of course, Ghostwire Tokyo needs more updates. We're looking for Wolfenstein 3, Starfield, new Elder Scrolls Online stuff. Will we get that next gen or that brand new MMORPG from ZeniMax Online Studios, who's really just tinkered with Elder Scrolls Online since I think 2014? I mean, a lot of questions there, and I think we could get some answers. So this year, if Bethesda were to do a showcase, I think it does have some potential. Now, I was confused at first, and I want to make sure I included this in the video because I thought that since all these announcements happened today, there wouldn't be some type of showcase. Turns out that that is still occurring. So this is what Jeff originally wrote in his article last night, where he wrote, "Finally, it's still unclear whether Microsoft and Bethesda will address the question of platform exclusivity. PlayStation fans want to know if Bethesda releases like Starfield, Indiana Jones, or The Elder Scrolls 6 will also launch on PlayStation 5. The Thursday presentation may provide black and white answers, or it may keep things gray, especially if plans are more nuanced and conditional from game to game." Now, in the follow-up article today, as all this news broke, he says, Spencer also noted that Bethesda games will come to Game Pass this week, and his team will talk more on that soon. This is likely a reference to the March 11th presentation that I reported on earlier this week. So that presentation is still going to happen. It has yet to be announced whether, of course, as I record and edit this video, I'm sure it'll happen sometime between then. If it doesn't, I'd say expect it tomorrow, Wednesday, and we'll get more information on that. And that will be tomorrow's video. So exciting stuff on that front, but I wanted to make sure that was all clarified because I thought after seeing Jeff Grubb's report, I was like, okay, that's going to be a part of today's video, but I didn't know how extensively it would be because originally it was just like, all right, what are we going to see for this showcase? Is that where they're going to unveil all these details? And I thought today would have stomped out what was going to happen on Thursday. So just wanted to put those answers out there because if I was confused, maybe some of you out there were too. And with that, that's all we've got. So Xbox officially owns Bethesda. Exclusivity is confirmed. Just we don't know how extensively that will be, and we may have to end up waiting till E3 to really figure that out. Of course, there will probably be more interviews with various members of Xbox on what exactly this exclusivity means, but unfortunately, we have to speculate to some extent. But the good thing is we know it's happening. Furthermore, if you're a Game Pass subscriber, you are absolutely winning here no matter what, whether you're on PC, Xbox, or other platforms it goes to. Just saying. But with that, I leave it in your hands. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. And a big thank you to all the patrons, all the members who continue to sign up. Thank you so much. With that, I'll talk to you very soon. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.